Hello and welcome back to another edition of Mike Said It First on 12 Ounce Sports. I am your host, Michael Carbellis, here in Guyton, Georgia, on another Monday, this time July 14th, 2025, 4 o'clock Eastern here in Georgia, like I said before. On today's show, with the NFL season just upon us, I'm going to deliver my top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL for this upcoming season. Michael Jordan was voted the greatest of all time NBA player by Bleacher Report staff, but MJ over LeBron was not my biggest gripe with this voting process. 6 countries per gender, male and female, and for lacrosse in LA 2028. I talk about why that number's a bit too low, but why I'm not totally surprised. And on today's Mike's World, I'll briefly touch on NBA Summer League, Shane Van Gisbergen winning again, and the Rocky Mountain Raptors going 1-1 to start off their season on 12 Ounce Sports. Without further ado, I want to let you know this show is presented by the ticketing platform at 12 Ounce Sports. Head over to 12ozsports.com to get your sports tickets for less. Again, when you go there, use that link. It helps us out. It gives you tickets for less. Again, 12ozsports.com/tickets, or click the tickets tab at 12ozsports.com. Let's get into our first topic of the day. It's going to be my top 5 NFL quarterbacks. Now, on this teaser graphic, I did put Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Hurts. Some people might argue CJ Stroud still. I still have a soft spot for Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, being a Colts fan. But I was objective about this, as you'll learn from my list. Now, the consensus is Mahomes, followed by 2 or 3 guys behind him like Burrow, Lamar, Josh, etc. Then who was the 5th guy? Like, who is that number 5 guy behind those 4? And obviously, I put Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts on the graphic, but who makes the list? So, let's get this out of the way. Number 1 for me is going to be Patrick Mahomes. I don't think it's close right now. Every time he matches up against his AFC contemporaries, he beats them no matter what the odds are against him or if their team is supposedly better. Patrick Mahomes has been dealing with Matt Nagy as his OC the last couple of years. And I've said before, that guy has not been good. Look at where the Chiefs' offensive numbers are since he went back there. I think Andy Reid obviously provides a big advantage, but last year, Mahomes, really the last 2 years, the Chiefs made it to the Super Bowl, and no one thought, pretty much everyone was like, they're not going to do it again, are they? And they did. And that was a big deal to me. Mahomes finds a way to win. He also can be flashy. He's got the raw arm talent. He can run it. He is the entire perfect package of an NFL quarterback. Number 2 for me, at this point, is going to be Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a physical freak. He became more consistent last year, accuracy speaking, and he did it without the weapons he had before. Stephon Diggs leaving helped Josh Allen, and Josh Allen was right there last year once again against Mahomes, just couldn't get past him. Number 3 for me, this is where I'll bring my list in. All right, so number 1 in Mahomes, number 2, Josh Allen, number 3, excuse me, a guy, well, I did not think I would have to do that this early, a guy who, in my opinion, and I have never been the biggest Jalen Hurts fan, but he has now played in 2 Super Bowls, has played very well in both, and I know he's got the offensive weapons and had Saquon Barkley last year. Has always had a really good offensive line. But Jalen Hurts is consistent. I said when he was at Alabama, I was like, this guy is average, but he keeps getting better. And for some reason, every big moment I saw him, that's when I remember him the most. For 3 quarters in college, like speaking, for 3 quarters, he'd be okay. In the fourth quarter, he'd do whatever it takes. And I'm not a guy who believes in the clutch gene, but if there was such a gene that existed, Jalen Hurts has it somewhere in his body. Number 4 is Lamar Jackson. Listen, Lamar's regular seasons have been really nice. Lamar Jackson, every single year in the playoffs, no matter who the Ravens have at his disposal on defense and offense, he shrinks in the playoffs. And I have always been a big Lamar Jackson fan. But the more and more this stuff happens, the more and more I get frustrated. Because it's not even circumstances out of his control. He just doesn't show up. And that's a big deal to me. I love Lamar Jackson. I thought his second season after the Heisman was almost as good as his first year at Louisville. Doesn't matter. Lamar Jackson's number 4, and he's still amazing, but his playoff shrinkage is real. Number 5 for me is going to be Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the Tom Brady of this generation. I know that people are going to say, well, he doesn't win. I'm talking about play style. Joe Burrow does not run a lot, if at all. Joe Burrow is accurate, but Joe Burrow, I know last year he had the bad defense. Joe Burrow every year has had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Joe Burrow sometimes has no excuses. I know, again, last year was the defense, but I don't want to hear it's all Cincinnati because the Ravens had not won a playoff game in God knows how many of years before Lamar. Josh Allen, the Bills were irrelevant. For the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes came there and all of a sudden they're amazing. Joe Burrow is on an NFL team, period. We got to stop treating the Bengals like there's some poverty team who doesn't have a salary cap. All these teams have a salary cap. This isn't baseball. This is not Paul Skeens on the Pirates. This is an NFL team with a minimum and a maximum salary cap, and Joe Burrow has not done it. In the Super Bowl he played in, he was good, but he wasn't great, especially in the fourth quarter. So, for me, Mahomes number 1, big gap, Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, and then a little bit of gap, Lamar Jackson, and after that, Joe Burrow and the rest of the field. I am not a big believer in Jaden Daniels yet, for those of you wondering about the graphic I had earlier. But I do think he has been very poised last season. I think Dan Quinn has proven to be a really good coach, no matter if he's a coordinator or a head coach in his NFL career. I think Commanders are a better team than what they're given credit for. I don't think Jaden Daniels is the only reason that team is good. I think they may be even better this season. But I mean, Daniels is in the top 10 right now, but I'm not ready to put him in the top 5 like some people are. When we come back to this awesome show, I am going to talk about this GOAT list, this top 100 NBA players of all time that came out of nowhere from Bleacher Report. And because this Wi-Fi is terrible, I'm on 1 bar. Hopefully you can understand me. If not, we'll be right back anyways.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
You are watching Mike Said It First here live on 12 Ounce Sports, and be sure to head over to the 12 Ounce Sports page on YouTube and subscribe. We are monetized, and we need your help to continue to grow this station. And don't worry, if you like this stuff, you're like, well, no one's here to talk about it. That's okay. The more you spread the word and subscribe, the more commenters we get, the more fun we have. Seems like a cry for help, actually. All righty. We are now getting into an interesting list that came out of nowhere from Bleacher Report. Now, I do want to say this first of all, that Michael Jordan was ranked the #1 player in NBA history according to Bleacher Reports. They had 100 players ranked. Staff members of their team did the voting, etc. So, I wanted to get into something because I know, if you know anything about me, you know I'm a LeBron James fan. So I'm not here to talk about LeBron James being #2. Because even though I do think it's odd that Michael Jordan only played 15 years, LeBron is working on year 23. And for some reason, it seems like his story has already been written, even though he just had another All-NBA team last year. But you know what? Again, I'm not going to get into that. I don't think it's fair. I think people have made up their minds despite one guy still playing, which again is weird to me. So we're going to scroll back to who's ranked #5 on this list, okay? #5 player after Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, in comes #5, Bill Russell. So Bill Russell obviously flexes 2 things in his NBA career. #1, he won 11 NBA championships, which, to be fair, is amazing no matter how many teams you play with. 11 rings in 13 years deserves our round of... Yes, our round of applause, and I didn't say it over because I feel like it cuts me off sometimes. But yeah, well, Bill Russell deserves our credit, okay? The guy was amazing. And they also call him the defensive player, the best defensive player ever, even though there's no steals and blocks to back that up. We're just going to have to take their word for it, okay? Because obviously Boston media does what they do. So then comes Shaq after Bill Russell. Then comes Tim Duncan, Larry Bird, because of course Boston, and then comes Wilt Chamberlain. And the same people who will argue, well, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points against plumbers and part-time employees, that is true. But why did you put Bill Russell at #5? That's where I'm concerned, okay? Bill Russell's lowest ranking for the Bleacher Report staff was #10. The lowest for Wilt Chamberlain was #11, but they ended up averaging out #5 for Russell, #9 for Chamberlain. Folks, I'm going to give you some stats, okay? Most of us, if not all of us, if we even care about this conversation, we're not alive to see this. And if we were alive, you might have been 2 years old. And I'm being generous, okay? So let's look at what we know. In the regular season, not their head-to-head matchups, just regular. What did they average for their entire career? Wilt Chamberlain averaged 30 points and 23 rebounds. Bill Russell averaged half as much points at 15 and 22 and a half rebounds. Advantage goes in that realm, regular season, to Wilt Chamberlain. 1 point. Both averaged around 4.3, 4.4 assists. Field goal percentage. Let's get to that. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 54% shooting for his regular season career. Bill Russell averaged 44%. Advantage, Wilt Chamberlain, who's now got 2 points. Let's get to this. Awards. How many times did Wilt Chamberlain win the MVP? 4 times. Bill Russell won it 5 times. Now, credit there a point for Bill Russell, even though I'm looking at these numbers and I'm still confused on how that's even possible. Again, a guy averaged twice as many points, but the other guy gets the MVPs. Like, you understand? Do you see why that's weird? Okay, but still a point for Russell. 2-time champ for Wilt, 11 for Russell. Great, good for him. And despite those 4 and 5 MVPs, Wilt Chamberlain somehow managed 10 All-NBA teams. Bill Russell managed 11. Again, one guy was the clear-cut MVP 5 times, despite scoring half as many. Just weird to me. Okay, let's do their playoff match. Let's do, first of all, their regular season matchups again. So this is when Wilt against Bill, same position. We don't got LeBron being a small forward and MJ being a shooting guard. We got center, mano a mano, okay? Now, Bill Russell's teams won these games 57 times compared to 37 for Wilt, okay? But how'd they play in those games? Wilt Chamberlain, 30 points, 28 rebounds. The defensive anchor, the best defensive player ever, how did he play against Wilt Chamberlain? 14 and 23. Now, I could be wrong, but I feel like people are rewriting history here. Again, the best defensive player ever allowed, on average, Wilt Chamberlain against him to score 30 and 28. That's the best defensive player ever. A guy who's not as good at winning on defense held his man to 14, to half as many points. So again, I'm confused how that works, okay? They are matched up against each other. You cannot dispute those numbers. One guy double the other guy, but the guy who scored averaged 14 in those 94 matchups was the better defensive. That's weird to me. Let's do playoffs, okay? Because that's when it mattered. They played 49 games against each other in the playoffs. Bill Russell won 29-20. Cool. It's almost like he had the better team. Let's do the individual comparison again. The best defensive player ever, according to the media, is Bill Russell. Wilt Chamberlain averaged in those 49 playoff games against Bill Russell 26 points, 28 rebounds. Bill Russell, 15 and 20. Hold on to 15, 25. Hold on now. Hold on. I'm confused again. The guy who's the best defensive player with no stats to back that up is getting punked by Wilt Chamberlain. Hold on. That doesn't make any sense to me. Again, we can argue championships were blue in the face, but how come those same people, because apparently that's all that matters in this debate, those same people think Robert Horry winning 6 or 7 championships means nothing. Well, why? Why? Because he didn't score a lot. Now, I'm not saying Bill Russell's not better than Robert Horry, because he is. But Again, the guy who you claim is the best defensive player ever got smacked around like a fish. He got pumped. He looked afraid. And Wilt Chamberlain is 4 spots below. Listen. Sports, listen, when you have stats in sports, they do a good thing about validating how you felt. I don't care how emotional or how much you love the Celtics. That right there is you. You're lying. You're lying to everybody. I don't see how that's possible. Again, we can argue 11 is greater than 2 all we want to. I could have sworn everyone on the team got a championship ring, not just Bill Russell. Like, am I like, hold on now. Why is it? Oh, and by the way, you remember that time that Jerry West, I mean, I know none of us do, but Jerry West once won a finals MVP. Do you know who he won that over? And Jerry West's team lost, by the way. The Celtics. Bill Russell. Isn't that strange? As great as Bill Russell was, the first time they implemented the finals MVP, Jerry West's team lost, and he got finals MVP over Bill Russell, who's the 5th best player ever. Again, I'm not saying Bill Russell is not a top 10 or 15 player. Of course, sure, great. But what's the argument for him over Wilt Chamberlain? Is it as simple as team accomplishments? And again, I'm not going to sit here and say that Bill Russell was not deserving of those championships. I think he had the second greatest numbers ever in that era. But everything, like, y'all give Bill Russell so much credits, and Wilt Chamberlain not just dominated him in regular season stats away from each other. When they were head to head, Wilt Chamberlain punched him around. And y'all want to convince me that Bill Russell is the better player. I can't. The fact that Wilt Chamberlain actually managed to win 37 regular season games, the fact that it was so close in the playoffs, 29-20, makes me even more sold that Wilt Chamberlain dwarfed this guy. I cannot even fathom how those stats are so much better. Yet Bill Russell is the greatest defensive player ever. Why? Because someone told you so? Guys, again, in the playoffs when it mattered, 30 on Bill Russell's head. Wilt put 26 and 28 on average over 49 games. And Bill managed 15 points in 25. That's impressive. For the mental gymnastics you have to do to try to convince people that Bill Russell was better and his defense was better, but the guy punked him. Can you imagine a guy averaging 30 on you? Boy, I'm the greatest defensive player ever. Boy, people would laugh in your face. They would laugh at you in any sports era. Because no one saw it. We just have to go with what these weirdos told us. It's unbelievable. Again, those are head-to-head stats. And I'm honestly stunned at Bill Russell being 4 spots ahead because championship, yep, that's it. All that matters. And yeah, that's all that matters, sure. But if we're going to do that, then Robert Horry, I guarantee you, Robert Horry is not in the top 50 on that list. Guarantee it. Might not even be the top 100. Why? Why is that? I don't know. You tell me. It's a fun conversation, though, considering none of us saw these guys play. But again, the information is right there. You tell me. Who was better? I'm confused. Oh, and by the way, the career high for Bill Russell in points If I'm not mistaken, this man never had a 40-point game in his life, okay? Now I'm going to Google this again real quick to make sure. Bill Russell, in his NBA career, scored, and he had 963 games to do this, folks. Bill Russell scored 37 points as his career high. Wilt Chamberlain, career 50-point games. Okay? 50-point games. He has 118 of them. And Bill Russell never scored 40 in a game. It is borderline impressive, the gymnastics that media tries to paint. It's unbelievable. One guy dropped 50, 118 times, and one guy never cracked 40. But yep, all defense championships. Wow, man, give me a freaking. You guys are so full of it. It's unbelievable what these people try to convince you of. All right, so it has me looking again like this. It's weird. All right, when we come back, lacrosse is only getting 6 countries per gender in 2020. I'll break that down and try to make sense of it because it seems a little bit low, right? We'll be right back.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Mike Said It First is live here on 12 Ounce Sports via X and YouTube. If you want to support this show and also forget supporting the show or the network, why not just go to the games you want to and buy your tickets for less, but also still supporting the show? Head over to 12ouncesports.com and click the tickets tab. When you do so, go to any sporting event you want for less money, which means more funds for merchandise or food or parking, etc. Head over to 12ozsports.com/tickets or click the tickets tab at 12ozsports.com. Thank you for all of that. All right. So, as you may have heard before, lacrosse is coming to the 2028 Olympics or Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. And first of all, awesome that did come about, I believe, sometime last year or 2 years ago. A few things to get to here. First of all, they are playing sixes. was a fast version of lacrosse. I believe it's safer in a way, I've heard, because it's like the field is like, I don't know, somehow it's safer, I've heard. Also, like I said, less players, so more accessible. It's like box on steroids, like not the physicality of it, but it's like as soon as you score a goal, it's like you can't even celebrate the thing. It's like just back and forth, back and forth. Cool. Men and women, which is awesome, get to play it. Also, Haudenosaunee is trying to get in, but I don't know if they still haven't approved that yet, but hopefully they can. And then we heard the number 6, and I've got a few things to talk about here. It's not a very comfortable thing to discuss, okay? So as I mentioned, 6 is going to be played, and let's be real, folks. That's not a lot. Not a lot of, that's not many people have picked up 6s yet, okay? Like, God forbid we try to play field or box, but I don't believe, and I could be wrong, I don't believe 6s is very popular yet, okay? Also, people who, like, there are some people out there who obviously and naturally want, 30 plus countries involved, considering we get all these countries at the Worlds when they do like the field thing. And I wonder, are there enough women, again, like, with the way the rules of the Olympics work, are there enough women to support 30 plus countries? Now, 6s, of course, makes those rosters a lot smaller, but I'm just wondering, like, is it enough women to support 30 plus countries? My thing is, why only 6? We couldn't get 10 in there. Like, 6 seems very, very, very low. Again, 10 or 12 would have felt a lot better. Like, this would not have been a topic if it was at least 10 or 12. But 6 is very crazy. To me, like, it's awesome that we have lacrosse in the Olympics because of the exposure alone. But man, we got a long ways to go. And I think lacrosse people knew this. But when Dan Arestia posted this picture, I forgot how he got this information, but it was like some email that was sent out, something like that, and whatever it was, they were basically announcing 6 teams, which are countries per gender, okay? But that brings us back to the Haudenosaunee. Because if we're only getting 6 countries, United States and Canada, probably Japan, you get maybe Australia or England, maybe both. I mean, Haudenosaunee, if they get in, which country do you snub at that point? Now, I believe, what was it, Joe Biden was the one who advocated for Haudenosaunee. Of course, that may have been at the Worlds. I forgot which one it was. I feel like he advocated for that at the Olympics. But it's like, what country are you saying no to? Again, if this was 10 or 12 countries, Haudenosaunee is a lot easier to include. But this has me worried about that now. Because again, you either include Haudenosaunee and make a bunch of people happy while still pissing off another country, or you include that country and piss off the people who created the game of lacrosse. Like, it's wild that if you only have 6 countries or 6 teams, that's what this does. Maybe Haudenosaunee does get in because it is 6s. And I'm sure they were one of the first to jump on that new brand of lacrosse. But folks, this does not look good. Again, I knew that we had a long ways to go, but 6 is absolutely insane. Like, that's got to be the least of all the sports. Like, it feels like it's down there. Especially with how old lacrosse is. And I know it has never been marketed well. I know that it's so much different versions of the game. I know that if we didn't have 6s, we wouldn't have lacrosse probably in the Olympics. But guys, we couldn't get 10 countries. Again, by doing this, you show how far we have to go. and you also show, oh, well, Haudenosaunee, you better hope and pray that you get in. I'm telling you, folks, it doesn't look good right now. No matter which side of that aisle you're on, most people wanted, including myself, wanted Haudenosaunee in there. But then we saw 6 teams, and I have no clue anymore. No clue. And it's sad. It really is. Again, I think we're far away, but I'll conclude with this. I didn't think we were that far away. It's just sad. I hope they get in, but again, at the cost of what country, I have no idea. I do want this to be positive, knowing that you really show kids around the world who are going to be obviously watching this. Hey, what is that game with a ball and a stick? I don't know. It feels awkward, man. 6, that's a low. That is low. Shout out to Dana Rusty once again for getting that information. All right. When we come back, let's finish up with Mike's World, where I will recap the Rocky Mountain Raptors. I'll talk Shane Van Gisbergen, who again is just going crazy in NASCAR, in the NBA Summer League. You're watching MSIF on 120Z. We're going to wrap it up next. We'll be right back.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Back to this version of Mike's Did It First here on 12 on Sports every Monday at 4 o'clock Eastern for at least the summer. We thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Michael Carvelis, live in Guyton, Georgia. The time is currently 4:40 here on the East Coast. Alrighty, folks, let's get into this edition of Mike's World. We thank you once again for tuning in. I was in Orangeburg, South Carolina over the weekend. Weather has been terrible in the Southeast. I mean, not like it is in Texas. And goodness gracious, that was such a sad story in West Texas. But I was in Orangeburg for a convention, and I got to dabble in a few sports. One of those was NBA Summer League. I just want to mention the following players have been standing out for me. G.G. Jackson, last year's draft pick of the Memphis Grizzlies, has been great when he's played. Was it Cole Swider for the Lakers, wherever you say that name? Bronny James of the Lakers has been up and down. Cooper Flagg looked better in his game, and in his second game, and Carter Bryant's. Listen, death taxes and the Spurs and Thunder being the best scouts in the NBA, because that dude is a defensive nightmare for anybody who's going to go up against him and Carter Bryant to the Spurs. And I'll be watching more NBA Summer League tonight. ESPN Plus are the games that are happening today. Shane Van Gisbergen once again dominated a NASCAR road course. He now has 4 career victories, 2 in Chicago, 1 in the only race they did this year in Mexico City, and now 1 at Sonoma. Like, this guy was so dominant that the driver who finished second place, my guy Chase Briscoe, went on Twitter and said, "I've never been more happy to finish second place in my life." Shane Van Gisbergen, a.k.a. SVG, this New Zealand road course rock star, has been taking over. Remember last year, I believe was when he came in, his first ever Cup race and won a race. That was the first time since like the 70s when a NASCAR Cup driver won his first ever race, okay? So, my thing is, his dominance is unprecedented. Like, we saw Marcos Ambrose, we saw Juan Pablo Montoya, Daniel Suarez will not even have a job next year so far. Shane Van Gisbergen is the best road course driver we've seen. Now, Montoya has him beat in terms of longevity and in terms of flat-out oval competitiveness, but SVG is coming fast, man. I don't know if we're going to see more international drivers because of this. I know NASCAR dabbling in Mexico City was awesome. I thought it's even crazier from the weekend is Connor Zilisch, a Dale Earnhardt driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr. driver, battled SVG and actually won the Xfinity race. And those 2 laps were incredible at Sonoma. So maybe Connor Zilisch is the answer. I'm just wondering. Also, the Rocky Mountain Raptors made their debut on 12-ounce sports. They play in the Box Lacrosse League. Our good friend Keenan was on the broadcast for those first 2 games on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday night, the dominant and red-hot San Diego Royals came in to Colorado, and guess what? Down 17-13 in the fourth quarter, the Raptors rallied to tie the game at 18, and then in overtime, the Royals did get the victory. But shout out to the Raptors, who are playing a juggernaut and still hung tough in that game. The second game, which involved the Native American Heritage halftime ceremony, which was broadcast on 12 Sports on YouTube, they played the Salt Lake City Storm and won 22-5. Again, all home games this year are going to be on 12 Sports, and that includes the next one, which I'm happy to say is going to be, and I want to make sure I get this date correct, I will have the remainder of the home games. Our next one is going to be August 2nd and 3rd, Saturday against the Smoke and Sunday against the Smoke. I will be very excited to take over from here. Keenan did a great job, and the rest of the crew did as well. But yeah, Rocky Mountain Raptors have started their season. Their next game actually is going to be the 19th and the 20th. So this week, they will play the Salt Lake City Storm again, but this time in Salt Lake City, I suppose. And then they'll play the Whalers. I believe they're going to win both those games, but I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to really speak anything before it even happens there. But yeah, I cannot wait for those games. Like I said, August 2nd and 3rd is when they'll be back on 12 Sports. And finally, we want to let you know the Monday Night Quarterback is back tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern. In other words, just over 2 hours from now. A little bit of a different setup, I've heard, but I will still be happy to give my audible to El Jefe. Thanks so much for watching today's show. I'm your host, Michael Carvalho, saying we'll see you next Monday, same time, same place, 12 Sports. Have a great rest of your week and stay safe, especially if you're with these storms. Bye, everybody. I'll just say bye. That's it. Goodbye.